Chief Strategist and Communications Director for the RNC, Sean Spicer, who works so closely with the Trump campaign and now is working closely with the transition as well. First of all, Sean, let me ask you this outright. Do we expect any announcements today? Would it be surprising to see announcements today?
It would not be surprising to see something come out today. But again, one of the things that you need to understand about President-elect Trump is that until he says something, it's not official. He has met with a ton of quality caliber people, from General Flynn to General Keane, General Mattis, other people in the national. Yesterday, Secretary Kissinger. He continues to get advice from the best and the brightest. National security, foreign policy, military affairs. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple things here and there, but he is going to put forth one of the strongest national security and defense-related teams that this country's ever seen, with the people who have got the expertise and the vision to make sure that our country is protected and that our military has everything it needs. So just for example, I mean, Sondland talked about the landing teams. The landing teams for national security are hitting agencies today. That's Department of State, Department of Defense, Department of Justice, and the National Security Council. Those are people designated by President-elect Trump to liaise with people designated by the White House to go into these departments and begin that transition process, so that on January 20th, after he takes his hand off that Bible, that he is ready on day one to implement real change throughout the entire government. And then on Monday, we'll talk about the economic team and then the domestic policy team. But these agencies and these landing teams will go all throughout government, departments, agencies, and make sure that we have a plan in place to enact real change starting on day one.
Sean, just while you were talking right there, a little my ear said that CBS News is reporting that Jeff Sessions, senator from Alabama, has been offered the job as Attorney General. Can you confirm that?
No, I can't. I mean, as I said earlier, until Donald Trump says it, it's not official. And that's how it works, and it will work. He is the ultimate decider. He will be the President of the United States on January 20th. But the way that he has run his business and his campaign is that until he says something, it's not official. It's
not official, but maybe we'll hear about something like that later today. Let me ask you, General Michael Flynn. Again, Donald Trump hasn't said it out loud, which is the Sean Spicer standard, but CNN and others are reporting that General Flynn has been offered the role as National Security Advisor. Let me play you something that General Flynn has said about the religion of Islam.
Islam is a political ideology. It is a political ideology. It definitely hides behind this notion of it being a religion. I don't see a lot of people screaming Jesus Christ with hatchets or machetes or rifles, shooting up clubs or hatcheting, literally axing families on a train. And so it's like cancer, and it's like a malignant cancer, though, in this case, that has metastasized.
All right. He says that Islam is a political ideology that hides behind this notion of it being a religion. He will now be, we believe, the National Security Advisor to Donald Trump. Does President-elect Donald Trump believe that Islam is a political ideology that hides behind the notion of being a religion?
Well, you heard on the campaign trail several times Donald Trump talk about the threat that radical Islamic terrorism poses. We've got to be very, very honest about the threats that our country... Hold on.
But General Flynn says it's not a religion.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, Donald Trump is the President of the United States. It's what his vision, what his beliefs that mattered. He understands the threats that this country faces. He is comprising the best national security, foreign policy, and military team that this country's ever seen, because he understands the threats that this country is facing and how to them. I mean, so you look at not just General Flynn, but the entire team, the landing team that's going over to those agencies that I mentioned, and departments. You look at the other people that he is considering for some of these top posts. It is going to be an entire team of people.
But we're not talking about the other people. We're talking about the guy who is going to be the National Security Advisor, which is the point person on international affairs, national security, military, inside the White House. And that person said that Islam is a political ideology that hides behind being a religion. There are 1 billion Muslims in the world. I think that Muslims in the United States and all around the world want to know if the President-elect believes that Islam is not a religion.
Look, the President of the United States believes that radical Islamic terrorism needs to be addressed, and we need to be honest about that. That there are people within that religion whose entire goal is to come after the United States, and we've got to be honest about the threat.
But it's not the religion. Michael Flynn said it's the religion.
I understand that, and what I'm telling you is that the President-elect of the United States, who is the man that matters in this equation, and he will tell every single person in the administration, from the National Security Advisor to the Chief of Staff to the Secretary of Defense, what his vision is, what he believes, and he will make the ultimate decision. So it's what he believes that matters.
All right, let's move on to Mitt Romney.
You bet.
What he believes or believed during the campaign, he called Donald Trump a fraud. What does it say to you that the two men will sit down together in New Jersey this weekend?
I think it shows you how magnanimous Donald Trump is. Right? What he wants is the best and the brightest, and he understands that Governor Romney may not have endorsed him, may not have supported him, neither did,
may not have endorsed him, like the biggest euphemism in
Senator
the world.
Cruz, well, initially had some reservations about it. Donald Trump has let all of that go. What he cares about now is not what your partisanship is, not whether you support him or not, whether or not you can help him enact real change. That's it, full stop. And you look at it, the actions that he speaks, since the day he took that stage at 2 a.m. on Wednesday morning and accepted the presidency from Hillary Clinton and thanked the American people for their support. Everything to show what a great president he's going to be and what a great team he's going to be. He is meeting with Democrats, Republicans, people who supported him, people who didn't. The criteria is this. Do you have good ideas about making this country great? Full stop.
Let me ask you also about Donald Trump taking credit for keeping a Ford plant in the United States. One of the tweets he put out last night, he said, "I worked hard with Bill Ford to keep the Lincoln plant in Kentucky. I owed it to the great state of Kentucky for their confidence in me." The thing is, Ford says this plant wasn't going anywhere. Ford says they were just going to make a different kind of car here. They were going to make Ford Escapes in this plant rather than the Lincoln MKC. So what's Donald Trump taking credit for?
Well, I think he has been very clear about the need to keep jobs in America, whether it's Ford or other companies, and that we've got to stop outsourcing our jobs and creating regulations and policies that encourage companies to move. And I know he's been very vocal, on, especially with the car manufacturing sector.
But he said, but he didn't keep jobs in America. He kept the model in America. I'm not sure keeping the Lincoln MKC.
First of all, I'm not getting, like, he is, what the discussions that he has had with various people, business leaders and company executives, is not something that I'm going to share. But I mean, I can tell you that he's been very committed to this, and not just publicly, but privately with the meetings that he's had with CEOs and other executives.
You going to work in the administration, Sean?
I will do whatever I'm asked to do.
Have you been offered a job yet?
I have not. No. I would be on. Look, you can't say no to the President of the United States, but it has been just, frankly, an honor to be part of this process. It is unbelievably historic what has happened, and I'm just honored to have had a small role and a small seat in this.
It's been a pretty big role. Sean Spicer, thanks so much for being